Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about if I don't reach out, I'm going to lose them forever. So this is a big fear that just about everybody has when they're going through a breakup. Everything inside of us says reconnect or I'm going to lose them. We feel desperate, we feel massive amounts of anxiety, and we get consumed with trying to reconnect with them. But oftentimes that makes the situation worse. And if you don't believe me, look at how it's gone so far. Did all of the ideas that you had work to begin with? Reaching out, trying to connect, trying to change your mind, trying to show them you've changed, trying to tell them you've changed. It usually makes the situation worse. And it's scary. So you don't want to go no contact. But remember, the way we teach it is not to reach out. That's it. We're not telling you to ignore. We're not telling you to make your ex say something important or something significant. We're just saying they need to be the ones to reach out to you. And if you really think about it, we're not asking for that much. We're not saying that they have to send you an apology text or something like that. All we're saying is we're okay with they send you indirect direct, I missed the cat, or some kind of short message. If it's about a notebook or socks or a key, whatever. They use this as an excuse oftentimes. So today I've got an email coaching from somebody that is really struggling with that fear of loss and of not reaching out. This is a guy in his mid-30s, and he dated a woman who's in her, let's say, late 20s. Now, they started dating about a year ago, and they broke up last month. And he said this is his first real adult relationship, which is kind of unusual when you're in your mid-30s. So let's see what he says. Our relationship was very loving and caring in the beginning, but started to fall apart after the holidays. Okay, so that was around the 6-month mark. Now, that is often where relationships start to really have their problems. Attachment issues start to really come out. He said, I would characterize my own attachment style as anxious and hers as avoidant. I think she's a fearful avoidant, but she seems to exhibit traits of both kinds. Throughout our relationship, she questioned my loyalty and dedication to her. Okay, why? I'll admit I made comments that may have put that into question. Things like admitting I look at other women in public, I look at porn and things like that. Though it was not my intention to give her doubt, I thought she was secure enough in our relationship that I could speak my mind freely without judgment or concern. Okay, so this kind of shows his lack of understanding of relationships, right? Let's think about this for a second. He's saying, I thought it would be fine to tell my girlfriend that I look at other women or that I look at porn and she'd be okay with it. Now let's flip that for a second because he makes it seem like it's on her. Oh, I thought she was secure enough. Okay, so how would you feel if she told you that she looked at other men when you went out? Let's take a long pause on that one, buddy. How you feeling? Does that feel good? No. This is where it shows he really doesn't know what to say or not to say. You don't say that to your girlfriend, okay? Even if you do look, it's fine. It's not the end of the world if you look at other people. But to say it to her, I mean, just think about how it would feel if she said that to you. Are you not secure enough to hear it? You see how it sounds when I flip it? Sometimes we have to do these things for ourselves to get clarity. And it's like, whoa, now I see why I messed that up. He says, I know I should have prioritized my partner's feelings over always being the most truthful that I could have been, but lesson learned. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily truthful to go around telling your ex that or your partner that you look at other women. What was the point of that? Did she ask you, do you look at other women? I don't know. Ladies, you chime in. What do you think about this? Communication wasn't always the greatest. Expectations weren't met, and disagreement over what those expectations should be. There were times I wanted to help her, and she took these as criticisms or wanting to change her. Okay. Not quite sure what those specific things could have been. I know a lot of times guys want to help. We want to problem solve. Maybe she took it, you were trying to do some problem solving. But it sounds like she felt like you were trying to change her. So that's where it gets a little murky. This is the reason she's been telling our friends about why we broke up. Okay. Communication wasn't always the greatest. Expectations weren't met, and disagreement about what those expectations should be. Okay, it's a little bit unclear because that's such a vague, those are all vague points. I don't see any specific things. Maybe there's something more. Towards the end, she started pulling away. I began chasing harder. I was becoming too dependent on her for my emotional needs. She felt like I was smothering her. Okay, so now he's toast. Okay, now she's pulling away, and instead of giving her some space to miss him and come back, he's smothering. This is where it's going to, take a nosedive and fast. She's also busy with getting a degree and coaching a youth sport. She's also busy with getting a degree and coaching a youth sport. I think she felt like she couldn't give me what I needed. Okay, so that ties right back into my last point. Okay, he was wanting too much closeness because he felt her pulling away. And when women feel like this, it makes them lose attraction. She asked for space, and I wasn't very good at giving her space. See, this is the nosedive that I was talking about. It's in a tailspin. It's going fast. It's about to crash. We have three big things all tied together. It's not going to turn around. Not likely. Not the way this is going with him. Oh boy, here we go. I sent a long letter trying to explain myself, and I just filmed a video about the power of going no contact and not using words to try and turn things around, that no contact is more powerful than anything that we can say. Here's another example of it. Okay, he did words. Okay, he didn't do no contact, he did words. Let's see what the words did. I sent her a long letter trying to explain myself and why I didn't want to break up. And she met up with me 2 days later to break up. So there we have another example of what I tell you all the time. No contact, no reaching out is far more powerful. It was really in a tailspin at this point. It would have been tough to turn around. But had you not sent that letter and just given her space, it would have turned it around a lot better than sending that letter. Friends that have talked to her seem to think that I could get her back after giving her time and space. Huh, what did I just say? She does have feelings for me and is having a hard time after the breakup. And also that I must change and learn from the reasons for the breakup. Now, I don't know if you've learned those reasons because they were pretty ambiguous and unclear in what you said here. So you better really know the nitty-gritty of what she was unhappy about. I mean, I just covered those three big things in a row that he was doing, but prior to that is what got us to this, where it really spun out of control. All right, let's see what happens. I broke no contact a week after by calling her. She answered, but it was a short conversation. I sent a follow-up text the next day saying we needed more time, but I love her. She never responded. You see, guys? This is what I keep trying to tell you, example after example, video after video. You often have to do the exact opposite of what your instincts tell you to do, which is why many people don't get their ex back. Your instincts are what he's doing here. And as you could see, every single thing he's done made it worse. This is what we see breakup after breakup after breakup. It has now been a week since that call and 2 weeks in total since the breakup. We still watch each other's stories and have each other's locations, but otherwise no contact. It's taking everything in my power not to reach out to her. Well, you've done that. How's that worked? Think about it. Do I need to go back and review? You broke no contact after a week by calling her. She answered, but it was a short conversation. I sent a follow-up text the next day saying we need more time and I love her, but she never responded. See, you already did what your instinct told you to do and it got worse. Okay, now she's ignoring you and you're saying, I want to do this more. I want to do more. A second handwritten letter. The first one didn't work, but the second will surely do it. Unfortunately, these things make things worse. I know most of the advice I've seen on your channel and others is to go no contact until she reaches out. And your situation, you think you should reach out again? You had a poor conversation, it went short. Now she's ignored you and you want to do more reaching out. Think about it. However, I'm worried that since she's avoidant, she will never reach out at all and may be waiting on me to reach out first. What do you mean reach out first? You just reached out. It's only been like 2 weeks and she ignored you. And you think that she wants to talk to you? Oh man, you are ignoring reality. It's going to come back to bite you if you don't stick to this plan. I want her back so badly. She is the best girlfriend I've ever had. This is the only girlfriend you've ever had. You said at the start of the email, this is your only adult relationship. And I didn't treat her as good as I should have. Okay, we'll work on that. I want to learn from these mistakes, grow as a man, and come back as an improved version of myself if she would take me back. But I feel like I'm on the clock to get her back before she moves on. That is not how this works. That is a story you're telling yourself. And if you listen to you instead of listening to me, it's not going to go well, man. And if you don't believe me, you've been listening to you all along. And look at where it's gotten you. Okay? Don't listen to you. Listen to the strategies. Listen to what we tell you works. Okay, he says, is there any hope for me? That depends upon who you listen to here. Should I wait for her to reach out or should I reach out? You already reached out and got ignored. How are you going to feel if you reach out again and she ignores you again? Okay? Think about it. Should I just chalk this up as a learning experience and move on? Well, you should chalk this up as a learning experience, but why does this black and white thinking where all of a sudden it's, I got to move on? No, what about, okay, I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to think about this. I'm going to learn from this, and I'm going to figure out either how to show changes for her or for anybody else that I want to date because your issues were coming up. You know, you have no real relationship experience other than this one woman, as far as I could tell. That's what you said. And you got to really step back and figure out what caused this breakup. See, here's the thing that's interesting. This is what you said. Communication wasn't the greatest. Expectations weren't met. And disagreement over what those expectations should be. There were times I wanted to help her and she took those as criticisms or wanting to change her. This is the reason she has been telling our friends on why we broke up. Okay. Let's just assume that it's true. Okay. What does this mean? Communication wasn't always the greatest. Expectations weren't met. You didn't meet her expectations? Did she tell you what those expectations were? You said disagreement over what those expectations should be. That's so vague. From whose perspective? Yours, hers, both? I don't know what they are here because it's kind of vague. And I'm wondering, my bigger concern is, do you know the specifics of what these things are? Because if you don't know and she comes back, you're going to be toast. This 2 or 3 sentences right here is so much of what happened, and it doesn't seem like you have a clear grasp of what it was. And then you didn't understand what you had to do versus not had to do, right? You were smothering her. She felt like she couldn't give you what she needed, which meant you were pressuring her and you wanted more than her. You weren't giving her space. You said all these things yourself. And then you did a handwritten letter and tried to apologize. And then you called her and then you sent her another text telling you love her. You see, you're doing what so many of us do that doesn't work. And you have convinced yourself that if you don't reach out, you're going to lose her forever. But if you keep reaching out, you're just going to pressure her more and more until she's really, really annoyed, which she may be already. You need her to step back, think about this relationship, what you did right, what you did wrong. And, you said earlier that her friend said she was having a hard time with it, right? The breakup was hard for her. So that's a good sign that she's going to miss you and that at some point she could reach out. But you have to have a clear understanding of why this didn't work. The creative healing course would be really, really good for you. You don't have a lot of dating experience, and it will really give you a great understanding of your needs, her needs, what it takes to be attractive in a relationship. But if you don't go past this and you just keep looking for excuses to reach out, no, this isn't likely going to turn around if you reach out again. I would absolutely not reach out to this woman under any circumstance. Let her reach out and be prepared to show that you understand why it didn't work out and that you're going to show the changes if you can turn this around or have another opportunity to re-attract her, okay? We want to focus on what we can learn, how we can grow, what your mistakes are, and what to do to replace those mistakes with more confident, secure behavior. I think if you leave her alone, she'll reach out because she's struggling with this breakup. And her friend said that, she's missing you and that you could probably get her back. So that's a good sign, but not if you continue with what you've been doing. Let her come back on her own. Let her show you that she's invested in this relationship enough to reach out and reconnect with you. I think if you do that and you can truly show confidence, you could have another chance at this, okay? But you really got to educate yourself on breakups and you got to educate yourself on relationships because this is really the only adult one you've ever had. And you're in your mid-30s. So you got to think about that. All right. Hopefully this one's been helpful to you. If you'd like to get my help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. You could also get my creative healing course and my workbooks there. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.